Good afternoon and welcome to the news bulletin. Here are the top stories making headlines. Fuel prices and cost of living continue to dominate national debate. Parliament begins review of proposal aimed at reducing fuel prices. Garissa farmers demand compensation over repeated flood destruction. FIDA threatens nationwide protest over rising femicide cases. And on to our international. Sudan humanitarian crisis worsen as fighting continues. My name is Charity NALIAKA. The high cost of fuel continues to trigger political reaction and public concern across the country. Leaders from both government and opposition camps have shredded blame over the rising cost of living, with many Kenyans expressing frustration over increased transport fares and food prices. This comes days after nationwide transport protest disrupted operation in several towns before the strike was suspended for 1 week following talks between the government and the transport operators. Still on matters of fuel, Parliament has started reviewing proposal by Kiharu MP Ndidi Nyoro seeking to lower fuel prices in the country. The proposals have reportedly been forwarded to relevant parliamentary committees for consideration, with lawmakers expected to examine possible amendments aimed at easing the burden on consumers. The move comes aimed growing public pressure on the government to address the rising cost of fuel and transport across the country. Elsewhere, farmers in Garissa County are now demanding compensation from the government following repeated flooding that has destroyed crops and irrigation system along River Tana. The farmers say they continue to suffer huge losses every rainy season whenever water is released from dams upstreams. They are now calling for long-term solution and accountability from both county and national government. The affected farmers say the floods have negatively affected their livelihood for years. In another news, the Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Kenya, has threatened to organize nationwide protests if the government fails to take stronger action against the rising cases of femicide and gender-based violence. The organization says the country is facing a serious crisis and urged authorities to speed up investigation into unresolved murder cases involving women. FIDA has given the government a 40-day ultimatum warning that women rights groups across the country are prepared to take to the streets if urgent measures are not implemented. And matters of the budget, attention is now shifting to the upcoming 2026-2027 national budget expected to be presented in Parliament next month by Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi. The National Treasury has proposed a record budget of about 4.82 trillion shillings, with major allocation expected to go towards infrastructure, education, health, and debt repayment. Parliament has also invited Kenyans to submit their views on the proposal finance bill and budget estimated through public participation forum across the country. Remember, you're listening to RCM Radio. You can get us on our website at www.rcmradio.co.ke. I'll be back with the international. On our international, the humanitarian situation in Sudan continues to worsen as fighting between rival military groups enters another month. International aid agency says millions of people have been displaced, with shortage of food, medicine and clean water being reported in several regions. The United Nations and humanitarian organizations are counting to call for a ceasefire to allow delivery of emergency assistance to affected civilians. Now you're up to date. My name is Charity NALIAKA.
RCM Radio News, your voice, your story.